Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. If you're a die-hard Detroit Lions fan, buckle up, because today's story might just be the spark that lights a fire under this team's defensive plans for 2025. We're diving into something that might seem like a small piece on the surface, but as we peel back the layers, the potential ripple effects become massive. The Lions made some moves in the draft, sure, but one critical question still hangs in the air. Will Detroit make one more key addition on the defensive edge before training camp kicks off? And if so, who? At first glance, everything looks fine. You've got Aiden Hutchinson, the face of the defensive front and one of the most promising young edge rushers in the entire league. You've got Marcus Davenport, a former first-round pick with elite athletic traits. You've got a rookie flyer in Ahmed Hassanein, a late-round pick with raw tools and a whole lot to prove. So on paper, there's depth. There's talent. There's youth. But there's also uncertainty. And for a team with serious championship aspirations, that can't be ignored. Let's talk about Marcus Davenport. On his best days, he looks like a monster, powerful, explosive, able to dominate tackles one-on-one. But those best days have become fewer and farther between. In the past 2 seasons, he's played just 13 games total. 13. Injuries have kept him off the field, and while his ceiling is undeniably high, his availability is a serious question mark. Can the Lions afford to bet their entire complementary pass rush on him staying healthy? If not, then who else can step up? Ahmed Hassanein is a fascinating player. Coming out of Texas, he was viewed as a high-upside project. He's quick, long, and flashes violent hands, but he's far from NFL ready. Asking him to produce consistent pressure against NFL-caliber tackles from day one might be unfair. Maybe in a year or two, he blossoms into a weapon, but for 2025, he's a depth piece, a developmental guy. Not someone you build a defensive identity around right now. That brings us to the heart of the matter. With Hutchinson locked in on one side, do the Lions need a proven, reliable veteran to solidify the other? The answer might lie in the free agent market, where some intriguing names remain surprisingly available. One name that continues to generate buzz behind the scenes is Preston Smith. A true veteran of the game, Smith has been a steady producer for years. In 2023, splitting time between Green Bay and Pittsburgh, he managed 4.5 sacks and remained a rotational force. The year before, 8 sacks, consistent pressure, veteran savvy, and perhaps most importantly, durability. Let's not downplay that last point. In a league where even top-tier pass rushers miss time regularly, Preston Smith has been a rock. He's played in at least 16 games in every season of his career. Every single one. That type of availability isn't just valuable, it's rare. For a Lions defense that saw multiple contributors miss time last year, bringing in someone who can be counted on week in and week out might be more important than ever. Now, some might argue that Smith's best days are behind him, and that might be fair. He's not going to lead the league in sacks or become a dominant edge presence. But that's not what Detroit needs. They don't need someone to outshine Hutchinson. They need someone to complement him, to keep offenses honest, to bring leadership and accountability to a young defense still learning how to win consistently. And Smith checks every one of those boxes. This would also fit perfectly with Brad Holmes. Think about it. This is exactly the type of smart, strategic signing he's made before. Not flashy, not headline-grabbing, but crucial. Holmes doesn't panic in the offseason. He lets the market settle. He waits for value. Then he strikes. Remember when the Lions landed C.J. Gardner-Johnson late in free agency last year? That move helped transform the secondary. Could Preston Smith be the defensive front version of that signing? And let's not ignore the timing. Training camp is just over 2 months away. Players like Smith are still available because they're veterans. They don't need OTAs. They don't need minicamp. What they want is a real opportunity on a contending team. That's what Detroit offers now. For years, the Lions were a rebuild project. Now they're a team on the rise. Playoff team. A legitimate NFC contender. That kind of environment can attract smart veterans looking for one more run. What makes this even more intriguing is the pressure building in Detroit. This isn't a team playing with house money anymore. The expectation is to win. Win the division. Win in the playoffs. maybe even get to the Super Bowl. That changes everything. Every roster spot matters. Every depth decision is magnified. So if you're Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, are you really going to go into the season with such a thin margin at one of the game's most critical positions? We've already seen what happens when Hutchinson gets double-teamed and there's no help from the other side. The pass rush stalls. The defense struggles. Coverage breaks down. You need that second threat. Smith might not be elite anymore, but he can win one-on-ones. He can play disciplined edge defense. He can give Hutchinson the freedom to attack. Fans are starting to catch on too. Social media has lit up with discussions about the need for another edge. Reddit threads, Lions Twitter, podcast hosts, everyone's speculating. Is Holmes waiting for the market to drop even further? Is he talking to agents behind closed doors? Or could there already be a deal in place that's just waiting to be finalized closer to camp? The buzz is growing. And where there's smoke, there's often fire. Imagine the impact on the locker room, too. A veteran like Smith walks in, brings his lunch pail mentality, and immediately sets the tone. He's played in big games. He's handled media pressure. He's gone toe-to-toe with the best. Young guys like Hassanin could learn a ton just by being around him. That's the kind of culture move that turns good defenses into great ones. And we haven't even mentioned the other names still out there. Yannick Ngakoue, Carl Lawson, Justin Houston. Each one brings something different to the table. Ngakoue offers burst and speed off the edge. Lawson is powerful and explosive. Houston is an old-school leader with Hall of Fame experience. But Preston Smith might be the best blend of upside, durability, and fit for what this team needs right now. So now the question becomes, what's the holdup? Is it money? Is it timing? Or are the Lions planning something that will catch everyone off guard when camp opens? Because one thing is clear, if Detroit wants to take that next step, to go from playoff team to serious contender, adding one more edge could be the final piece to the puzzle.